So hello everyone and welcome back to day 4 of the daily vlogs from Chateau de la Baminière. As you can see, I'm currently stood behind the chateau. It's raining, that's why I've got the umbrella. And it hasn't stopped raining for months. We haven't had any sun, it's just been like this. Clouds, storms and rain. But we might have some good news because Jean-Paul, the farmer next door, where we get the milk from, he has today been out here with his tractor and he's cut the grass. And that means that the sun is on its way back. He is pretty much the best weatherman in the area. So if he's cut the grass, it means we're going to have sun, because obviously you need sunny, dry weather to dry the grass to turn it into hay. And that means we might have some good weather on the way. So obviously today we can't do much outside, but I'm going to go back into the cottage and think of something to do. I'll tell you what I do need on the way back to the cottage. I need some bay leaves because I've run out of nice bay leaves for cooking. So if you want bay leaves, you need to find a tree, and we've got one just over here in this corner. Bay leaves, if you want them, they're just here. Although our gardener did prune this whole side back, so it's not as easy for me to get them as it used to be, because they used to hang over here. But look a bit tatty, those ones. Ah, here we go. I can't. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to get up on the wall. Bear with me. Try not to kill myself getting up here. There we go. Right. Get some good ones from the top. Oh, they look nice. What about? They're the ones we want. Fresh bay leaves for cooking. And bay leaves apparently have antiviral properties. So they're not only make the food taste delicious, they're also good for your health. Oh, there we go. Back to the cottage, and I'll hang those up above the Aga and they'll dry out. And when they're dry, I put them in a jar and I can use them for cooking. I'll tell you what we haven't had many of this year, and that's apples. There's barely any on the trees. One there, really not many. Let's have a look at some other trees. Nope, small, rotten ones. Really low on apples this year, not very good at all. But we're going to have a bumper crop of, wait for it, blackberries, because we've had quite a wet summer. Blackberries love water, so we're going to have loads of these this year. So what we might do is, in the next week, go out and hunt for as many blackberries as we can and make blackberry jam, because it's absolutely delicious on toast in the winter. Perfect. Right, let's go back because my feet are absolutely soaked. I should have worn some Wellington boots, but didn't think about that. Okay, well, it's a bit large to hang up at the minute, and it's covered in rainwater. So what I'm going to do is just lay it on top of the Aga for a bit to let it dry off. But I'm just trying to think, what can I do? Actually, we're going to be, hopefully this week, I'm going to be going to pick up all of the oak mouldings and the trim for on top of all the panelling around the doors and windows this week from the carpenter's workshop, because he says it might be ready. So what I imagined for this wall was a watercolor gallery. So I've got loads of offcuts from the wood that was used to make the panelling, and if I can get Billy to show me how to use a router, I could possibly make loads of picture frames for free using the wood, and that way I could make them all to size to fit the paintings that I've done. So what I want to do is I want to create a series of watercolours, maybe some Beatrix Potter characters, like a spode plate or a teacup, some flowers or anything that sort of I'm inspired by nature around the cottage, and paint them and put them in all frames all over the wall. And then once I've actually got a few, I could have them professionally printed, and I could sell limited numbers of prints of copies of the watercolor gallery in the gardener's cottage, so people can actually buy stuff that they see on the wall. But obviously I haven't painted a lot for a long time. I think the last thing I painted was the Patreon Christmas card just before Christmas, and I haven't used any of my art material since then, and I really want to get back into it. So first of all, I need to go and find all of my art materials, which are at the top of the east wing tower in my bedroom that I don't use anymore. And we need to go all the way up there and get those. But actually we could have a little rummage around the drawers and things in my bedroom and see if we can dig out any old family photos or anything interesting, and then we could bring the art materials back here, and I'll have a little think, maybe try and have a look around for some inspiration. So the quickest way to the top of the tower is actually through the basement, up the servant staircase, and then up the other spiral staircase from the first floor. So we'll go into the basement. Right, so it's a long way to the top of the building, and I actually don't know how many steps there are, so maybe we could count them on the way up. So we're going to start here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. So 40 from the basement to here. Right, how many more steps? 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59 steps to here. Get almost there. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. And how many to the top? Okay, last bit. How many more steps till the attic? So that was 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. 94 steps to the top of the building. I thought it was about 100, so we're actually about 6 steps short. But we don't need to go this far. My bedroom's actually on this floor here. So, welcome to my bedroom. And it hasn't actually been seen on this channel since the 2nd episode. Actually, no, I did film a video in here a couple of weeks ago. So, welcome. All of my art materials are here. So, see that's a bar of carbolic soap. It's what people used to use a long time ago in England. It's made of carbolic acid, which is a byproduct of coal. I'm not sure, I think something to do with that. Carbolic acid. Smells delicious. What have I got here? This is some Winsor & Newton gouache paints. I don't really use gouache because it's quite opaque. That's actually the Patreon Christmas card that I painted just before Christmas. Anyone who sent their address got one. Oh look, the story of Beatrix Potter. I think somebody sent me that. Look, that's her garden. This is the best watercolour paper you can get, as far as I'm concerned. It's Arches. It's a French manufacturer of watercolour paper, and this is actually made from, believe it or not, it's not made from wood like normal paper. It's actually made from cotton. So it's turned into pulp and it's pressed. And this is the smooth, which I find better for illustration. You can get like the rough watercolour paper, but I prefer the smooth stuff. So I've got loads of that, different sizes. Oh, look, Beatrix Potter plate. From what year is that? That was a gift from somebody. From 1986, that was the year I was born. So that's a birthday plate. What have I got in here? More Winsor & Newton art materials. This is a set of inks with quill, so you can do calligraphy or outline illustrations. The way Beatrix Potter used to outline her illustrations with ink and a pen years ago. Obviously, it would have been a quill because back in those days they didn't really have pens like they do now. Watercolours. I've got quite a few different tins with different colours in. That's obviously the greens and the yellows and the blues. This is my collection of paintbrushes. You'll notice that the picture's just changed. The light that we used to film has just run out of battery, but it doesn't matter, we can still film. There's plenty of light in here. Yeah, these are made from Kolinsky Sable, and they are the Winsor & Newton Series 7 brushes, and these were actually invented for Queen Victoria. She asked Winsor & Newton to create her the best quality paintbrush that could be made, and they made these for her because her favourite size of brush was a number 7. This is a number 7. But the original ones that she would have used they would have had like a solid silver ferrule, and they used to have ebony handles. Now they're made from nickel and just painted wood. But the hair on the brushes is still the same quality. And also, we've got these brushes. I've got quite a few of them. These are mop brushes, and they are made from squirrel hair. And I've also got a couple of different brushes. These are made from goat hair and pony hair, but they're for sort of large washes. I don't use them very much. So that is my collection of paint brushes. But while we're here, we might as well have a little look around and see what else is hiding in some drawers and things. I'll tell you what, something else that's really interesting. I have actually been, not YouTube videos, but I have actually been vlogging, as it were, since the age of 14. And I do, if I remember rightly, in this drawer have some of my original videos which are on tape. That's my diary from when I was 17. Strangely enough, I used to give it to my friends when we were out, just hanging about in the streets, and I'd give them my book and a pen, and they would actually write me messages, draw me pictures, loads of letters from friends, all sorts of things. What's this? Some obscene drawings probably. Yeah, loads of letters from my friends there. Crazy. Still got those. What else is in here? Who's that little blonde angel? That's me. And that is from September 1988. So I would have been, what, 2? No, I would have been just turning 2. Just a month before I turned 2. What else is in here? Look at me, dressed up for my aunt and uncle's wedding. I'm in the little suit and the top hat with a vintage car behind. Very cute. But what else is in here? Loads and loads of old photos. I think there's one up here actually. That's from the day after I was born in the hospital with my mum. But hiding in the bottom of here is, wait for it, look at these tapes. So that's a party, the 17th of April 2003, and it's got a list of me and my friends were at the party. I used to actually have lots of house parties when my parents went away to France in the summer without permission, and I used to film all of them, so I've got all of the evidence. So this may come back to haunt a few people in the future, because we used to get up to some crazy stuff. Another party, July 2003. Who was there? Matthew Chambers, Keely Wilson. Oh, we did a fake news report in this video. Billy, my brother, skating with his friends in Doddington. Also, a day out in Canterbury. This is the day that me and my friends took my video camera. I think we were about 15, and we walked around the town centre and we pretended that we were film students, and we interviewed loads of random strangers in the street. Me and my friend Sonia, that was obviously filmed at her house. We were just hanging out one day. What are some of these? It could be anything. Summer Madness school plays. Mine and Keely's tape. God knows what's on that. Just us probably laughing and being stupid. Party May 2004. Chris, Jack, Aaron, Vicky, Ashley and me. And Keely, me and Lizzie walking around their village. Just getting up to no good probably. The thing is, I'd love to get all of these tapes and put them, sort of digitize them somehow. But I don't know how to do it. I think you need some sort of tape, the actual, maybe the camera that they were filmed on, because these are high 8 tapes or 8mm tapes. So I need the camera and some sort of special cable to transfer them off. But some of these are sort of almost 20 years old. Some of these are 18, 19 years old, these tapes. So hopefully the videos are still on them. But they've been kept in this bag for nearly 20 years. So they are the original vlogs of me and my friends. Oh, look at that little angel. He looks just like Ernest actually. Very similar eyes. Very cute. This is my glamorous half Spanish grandmother, Rita. Look at her in the 1970s, I think, maybe the late 60s or the early 70s. There's another one of her there. They used to do a bit of modelling for magazines and things. You can see she's a very glamorous lady. Must be where I get my looks from. I'm joking. Yeah, here's some of my artwork actually. That's a copy of a Beatrix Potter painting that I did from the Tailor of Gloucestershire. No, the Tailor of Gloucester it's called. Because I wanted to paint like Beatrix Potter, I thought the best way to do that would be to copy her paintings. So for a couple of years, all I did was copy Beatrix Potter paintings, and I did this one. There's one of Peter Rabbit crying by the garden gate because he lost his coat and his shoes and he couldn't find his way out. There's one of him squeezing under the gate. Another one of just Peter. I think that was the one that's on the front of the book actually. And also another one of Peter Rabbit and his mum, sisters as well. What else? Oh, that's the back of a book that I illustrated for someone that I used to work for. Some of my work. You may have seen that before, you may have not seen that before, but that was a wallpaper that I designed. And there's the actual wallpaper. So I've got that. And I think actually in this drawer, I do have all of the, well, not the original sketches because I had to give those away, unfortunately. But I do have copies of every single stage of the design process from original sketch, which is there, through to, that is an early, just a line drawing of half the design because obviously the design is mirrored. You can see here, there it is. That's before it was painted. That was the original sketch there for the beehive. Oh, there we go. That's a copy of the beehive painted. You can go on and on and on. It's all here, every single thing. That was the first colour mock-up of the repeat that I did digitally. There's the full coloured one, a scan of that. This one doesn't have the beehive. Another mock-up. What else is there? More designs. Another. This is a very rough pencil sketch of the final design, but obviously I have to go through several stages of refining that. So I'll draw a rough version and then I'll trace over it neater, and then I'll transfer that to some paper, and then I will trace using tracing paper. I'll trace over it again and keep refining the lines. So you get from something rough like that to a very refined version, which is then scanned, so that you don't have pencil lines on the final design. What I do is I will actually scan that drawing, the final pencil drawing, and I will then print a very faint version of that onto watercolor paper, and then I'll paint over that so that the final design doesn't actually have any pencil lines. So it's just very soft. I've got all of those design stages from start to finish. Even there's an element of it that was drawn separately and added later. Some different versions of different things. See that? There you go. That's the rough pencil version. It's all there. Got all of the design stages of it. Also got some other things in here. That's a design that I did, which is it was meant to be a daisy, but actually it looked more like a medal, to be honest. That's the original there. And this is a design that I did. This was a design that was rejected. I was told that the leaves looked like a woman's intimate parts, and this design was rejected in favour of a different version. But that's one of my designs, a repeat design. That's not copyrighted. I could use that, actually. I think that's quite nice. Water lilies, lily pads, and dragonflies with a nice background. I think that's quite nice. So yeah, guess what else is hiding up here behind this coat? It's Detective Petherick. Where is he? Nobody knows. But that's his coat and that's his trousers. And yeah, maybe he'll come out again one day. But actually, I've got some other art materials I might have to have a quick rummage through. So we'll go into the other room and have a look and see what we can find. Let's put some lights on in here. If you come through with me, this was my old office, and this is where the design that you saw earlier, this is where I painted it and drew it all. This is where it happened. This used to be an office. It's just a little abandoned room on the top floor. And I just sit up here for hours and hours all night long painting, doing designs. Some stuff still left in here. What was that? That was a design for a shield that was going to be painted above the gate. I've got some workings of a design that I did. That was for a repeating design. What's this? Some dolphins. I'm not sure where they got used in the end. I think they ended up on a boat somewhere. What else is in here? Loads of different workings. Different designs that I started and never finished. This was for a wallpaper design. Sort of a repeating lozenge design. Never finished that. But there's no reason why I can't. But what else is in here? That's another version of it. It was like a repeating lozenge. If I put it on the wall, maybe you can see it. I don't know. It was like a repeating lozenge design like that. So it would have gone up and around and again, and then it would have repeated like this, something like that. Yeah, the next one would have been there. Maybe I can do that actually. There's no reason why I can't finish that one. Pencil sketch. See, you go through so many designs. See that's how you do it. You do a rough sketch or an even rougher sketch, set out a line, do a rough sketch, and then I would trace over that rough sketch with tracing paper to then, it would have been that way actually, trace over it to refine it. So you get a rough pencil drawing, you get a neater pencil drawing, and then I'll probably trace over that again till it's even neater, and then I'll transfer that to paper, scan it. That was a sort of mock-up painted version done with gouache, which was a more, it's more of an opaque paint, but I was going to redo it with watercolor. So as you can see, it goes from that, something like that, to that. Although actually this version, yeah, it is the same. There you go. It overlays quite perfectly. So that was a design. So you would have had that, and then it would have repeated something like, so this part would have started in this area, halfway up for the next one, something like that. So you would have had all of these trails of flowers and foliage going up in lines. Something I could finish. What else is up here? Just bits of old paper. That's a rough design sketch for another wallpaper design. But in here, if you have a look, it's all more of my art materials. This whole writing desk, this was a gift from my grandfather actually. Apparently he pulled it out of a skip in the 1960s and it sat in his garage for years. So, and he gave it to me. Right, so I'm going to get all of this art stuff, take it back to the cottage. I probably won't do the actual painting on camera today because I need to sit down, get some inspiration, but maybe tomorrow I'll show you a bit of progress if I paint something tonight, but obviously I've got to edit this video. I tell you who, poor little bear here is being neglected up here in my bedroom, left on his own, so I think he should come and live in the cottage. And he actually, I think, his little growl still works. Bless him, look, he's a bit bald and he needs needs some repairs. I actually know somebody who could do repairs on him, but yeah, I think he's lost his eyes and his stuffing's coming out, but I think he can come and live in the cottage. So let's get the art stuff and go back downstairs. So got the paint brushes. We just need to find a home for the bear. Where's he going to live? I think he can sit with me at the table actually. It's quite cute. We'll put him there for now. I think before I sit down and do some painting, I'm going to boil the kettle and make a nice cup of tea. So we'll put that on. So I did mention in one of the last videos that I don't have obviously electric appliances here. The only thing I've got is the lights and the refrigerator. So how do we boil a kettle? Well, you have the Arga and you have this vintage kettle and you just put it on there. And that's how you boil a kettle. Really simple. Hopefully tonight after I've finished editing I can sit down and do a little sketch and maybe I'll show you how I paint that tomorrow. So first of all, for a cup of tea, we're going to need a teapot. We're going to need teacups and saucers. These are actually vintage 1930s cups. So they're about 90 years old, these teacups. Although the teapot is new, they look exactly the same. Also we need milk jug. Although I don't have sugar in my cups of tea, we need the sugar bowl anyway, just for show. And if you have a look here, I've got, this is very old, and this is a solid sterling silver canteen, and it's from 1949. Obviously it's enough for 6 people. It's got knives, forks, spoons for tea, everything. And we're going to need some teaspoons, sugar tongs. Well, we're not going to have sugar, but we'll get them out anyway. And we need a tea strainer. I got that in a little French antique shop not long ago, last year actually. So close that up, put that away. Milk in the milk jug. And seeing as it's the afternoon, I think we should have afternoon blend. It was designed for a reason, so this is what you're meant to drink at this time of day. So this is how you make a good English cup of tea. You need to, first of all, put a little bit of water in your teapot, just a little bit, and then you need to just swirl that around inside a little bit, just to warm up the pot. Obviously you don't want to put your boiling hot water in a freezing cold teapot, otherwise it won't be hot enough to brew the tea properly. So that's probably warm enough now. Tip that out. So they say 1 per person and 1 for the pot. This is actually quite a big spoon for a tea caddy, so I'll just put 2 of those in. There we go. While I wait for that to brew, we're going to sit down, have a nice cup of tea. I'm going to think of something to paint. And for now, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you again tomorrow for day 5 of the daily vlogs. So if you like these videos and you've been enjoying them, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.